WP. And logically, we did, or theoretically, we did almost everything we need to know on this responsive design. And I said the summary of this is just to build a web that can run perfectly well on different screen sizes. And we gave the different breakpoints. We gave the different breakpoints. Excuse me. Still on for some seconds. Okay. And these are the breakpoints. The breakpoints. And for mobile, we gave that this breakpoint is around 480 pixels, and 480 pixels down. And we have the tablet and the size, the small laptop and desktop. And the idea is ability to build a web page or a website that can run suitably for any of these screen sizes. When I view on any of these screens, it makes sense. It doesn't look scattered, the positioning does not do disaligned, and everything is still positioned properly and is layered properly and neat. So that is the idea of the responsive web design. So today we'll be moving very further. We'll do something real. There's something that we have not done before. So that is something we're doing today. Today we'll be building a mini live web page. A web page. Not so much, but just to see how we model real life dashboard and how we can utilize each of them in different sections. So whenever you see this, you know how to apply it. It's the same rule. All big designs you see, they are still taking the primary rules. So it's from the primary rules that you can now advance to do something, combine so many things at the same time to achieve something that looks like it's crazy. All right, so we'll do something. So let's look further. The agenda today is responsive, advanced, CSS2. And we'll focus on practice, then our question and answer. Chisom, please, if Mario say anything, maybe don't hesitate to pass the message to me. I think you are our messenger now. Sorry for making you a
Okay.
messenger.
All right, sir.
Thank you very much. So our practice, we just design a full responsive web page, a navbar. So this page will consist of a navbar, a card sections, how you see different cards or different designs or elements or different data or information on your web page, and you see how they are arranged. Most times in kind of a box form, in a card form. You see them where sometimes where arranged, some maybe two, some three. So I will see something like this. So say first, maybe like a nav bar, we have something like this. Right, so you will see that this is similar of what we have in our assignment. So maybe you have the logo here, you have the company name here, one, you have two, you have three, you have four, you have five. Then maybe you now have something of search. Maybe let's see if I can increase this. But this radius, I wish I can reduce the radius. I'm new to this scratch board or this auto draw. All right. So this is typically representing our nav bar, right? Then next, we'll say a cars. So you cannot see cars that have been sectioned on this paper. So maybe sometimes you see a car like this, one is like this, one now comes on maybe with a design here. Then can I get a straight line? Yes. So this is a freehand. Uh, Using a mouse, system mouse. My hand is very straight. Alright, something like this. You now have it different sections. Assume. Bear with me in my drawing. So let me use it again. So we now have something maybe a one card below here, right? Maybe then we have different buses, different buses, different buses, depending on how they are arranged. How they are arranged. Different buses, buses. That mine is meant to be straight. Design is wonderful. So this is an idea of something. So you cannot start seeing that you actually, as I'm scrolling more things, more design, or more different position pattern, you keep seeing them. You can keep seeing them. Let me see if I can see any simple design here. Let's say Wikipedia. I don't know. I love Wikipedia so much. Let's see this. Let's see. I think they have a very basic design in their web page. English. You can see very simple. That is it exactly. So you can see that they have a sort of kind of a nav bar where all their logo search, where you can search, then different information they want, they link to login, create account, donate. These are things you contain on the nav bar. Then you can start seeing, and I think this is an advert. So this is kind of an alert, pop-up alert. So we still do alert maybe in a project. So this is an alert. So you have a button to close it. I can decide to close it. So you can see that it still has something like a sub menu. So that is relating to this same thing because they are all links. Then you can see something like the main home. This kind of button from here to here with a text inside. Then you come down here, you see that this guy is like divided into two. This is a section card, this is another section card. You tell that this is one card, this is another card. Inside this card, we have different sections inside. So this is the two cards, and the end the two cards here brought out another card again. You can see another card here that has this div covered a text like a design with a background, then an image which is very responsive, and their text inside. You can see it. Then center this one, push this one to left end of the card. You open another card. You can see that they are just utilizing almost very simple designs. Just open a card, have a text, have this, and keep moving. You can that is basically what they are doing. When it comes to this size, they display them, and we have done display flex. They flex them to be, or they can use column for grid. They can still use what is it called, the flex box, flex wrap to achieve this. So you can basically see that what we have learned is what almost major websites you can see that you say, these are big websites, these are big companies, they are using nothing different. So the same thing. All right, so I'm taking this route so that I open your eye to see that in real world program it's so easy to even break down. You can break down every website and see each sections how it was done. I hope that makes sense. That's the same thing I was talking to Chiefs about. So let's go back to today's one. So we have the footer, right? So maybe the ending footer. Then an additional tag to say I will do a responsive image album. So this is typically what we'll be designing today. Something like this. A nav bar that have a card. These are the center. They have another card. And we scroll. We have like 3 cards displayed in a flexi matter, and we have the footer. Then if the time permits us, so we add the image album maybe below this card. There will be an image album. All right, so let's get it started. So if you have a system, you can power your system, open up your VS Code and code as I code. Practice is the best way to learn anything. All right. So I want to create a new folder. So let me call this folder projects. Let me call it projects. Then inside these projects, I will have another folder. Let's call it this project 1. Project 1. Then inside this folder, I can have a new folder. Call it CSS. Inside this folder, again, I can have another one, call it JS. And inside this folder, okay, see, I can have another one, call it image. Another folder, call it. So you can see how I structure my program when creating it, so that I can arrange everything I'm doing very well and neat. So this is kind of a ritual. Learn how to manage everything you do. So I can come to this root again. I will create a file and I have index.html. So I will teach you something. Whenever you are building a program, make sure you have a root HTML file, because this is what the browser understands. Actually, if you are hosting this live, it will be looking for your root index. It will be so seeing this root means that this is the entry point of this website. This first thing to display. So it's very important to use the index. So you might have seen many things like why they use index. Index means like the default, like the directory link or the entry key, right? Let's say the entry key to every whatever you are doing. So it's very important. So you can get some other HTML, like for every other HTML you have must be linked to this index to work together. Okay, let's proceed. So I've gotten my index, so I will open up this. Okay, so I can say my first web page design. All right. So let me confirm that you are still online. All right, let's stay happy soon.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Are you coding with me?
No, sir, I'm just following.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so let's review this again. So this is similar what I drew here. Let me check here. This is similar with this, more similar. So the same pattern of thing I'm trying to replicate. First thing we have here, this is the first section. Let's break down this problem. From here to here is a blue column to tell that this is a different layer. Alright, this is another place. From here to here, it has its own content, and they are drawing with this. And if you check the background is not the same. That means you can also choose to have a big box that will contain all these things and start. You can also want to replace this one separately, open another box and remove their spacing, no margin. Alright, so they join together. It's your choice. The same thing here, you can still want to break another one, or you can also group them at one and still break them in sections. So that is different, but I will do them independently. I will leave this one, I will take this one, and take this one. So I can explain it very well. Alright, so we'll first of all focus on the nav bar. So I will be using most symmetric elements. So I can give a comment so that I've taught you what comment is. Did I increase this? I think I increased my font. Yes. Alright. Comment is a short note. I think I've explained what the comment is doing. A short note, like a description note, whatever you are doing. So I will say control question mark to generate, and I will call this my nav bar. Then I will use the nav since I want to create a nav. I'll use the nav. The nav NAV. Alright, use the nav. I'll give it a class of navbar. I'll just give it a nav since we are doing a navbar. A class of navbar. Guys, I've created everything in my nav should be located inside this, should be nested inside. So first thing we have, let's check out. So I like coding side by side. I like coding side by side. So I will bring this design out so that I can be seeing whatever I'm doing. Why are you divided? That is something like my image. Whatever I'm designing, I like seeing it while I design it. Then maybe it can be my mobile or I can place it on my side, which I even prefer more. Let's do the skeleton, which I said HTML is responsible for. We are forming the skeleton. So what's the first thing here? This navbar can serve like this container that has a blue. That's why I gave it a class. Then inside this container, I can have different sections. So I will have here can be my logo. So I always suggest whenever you are wrapping a logo or image, a special image, unless you want to change its place from screen stretch to normal, right? So by default, the item content, am I still connected? The item content is always this one. Can you still hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So the content, the item content must time stretch because that's by default if you have an image. So by if you just add your image, it will stretch. If you stretch it, it will change the positioning of your image. I always advise to use the div container, like a container to wrap it. That is the easiest part for it. So you cannot add, if it's image, you can add image. But since I don't have any image, then I'll be adding text. I can give this a class of, call it a logo, and I will just write a text what I'm seeing here, my website. So I've done with this. I will leave this place. So the next thing here, there's nothing here again. Next thing here is to have a list that has this section 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can, what kind of list is it? Can say they are not numbered serially. So I can just decide to use on other list for them and say UL, create another section, and give it a class of nav links. Okay, I'll give it an ID, but later on I'll do that later. I'll explain why I'm giving an ID. Okay, so inside this I can start listing my references. I can say this is home, capital letter H. Can add another one since it's 4. I'll just add 4. Let me change them. I have home, I have services, I have about, I have content. But if you look at this, you see that this thing is meant to be a link. If I have list this, it just be a plain text. That means it's not clickable. It's not like a link, right? So we discuss about a link. How do I get a link? I can use the anchor tag. So inside this list, I can embed an anchor tag. So I will change that for this. I will choose the A. I will use the href. So let's just leave it to hash for now. No, I'm not going to anywhere. You just refresh. So I'll copy this again. Paste it here. Copy this. Paste it. I will change it for all. Either way, so I'm just taking this step by step so you can understand what every bit of what I'm doing. I'm just being.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. What's the significance of this hash we are putting in between this href?
Okay, I don't have my link now. I don't have my link, so I'm not. It's just kind of empty. He just refresh himself. If you click on it, it just refresh itself. It will not go to anywhere. So when I have my proper link, maybe I have a home page now. I can properly, if it's my root bar, I can now properly link to home. Whenever it's clicked, it will take me to this home. But since I don't
Okay.
have it yet, I leave it empty to refresh itself. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Alright. I have gotten the length for this. I have gotten the length. So if I run my code, let's see. So I would like to finish up with everything about it now before moving further about the styling. So I don't bring you up and down. I will go live here. Then run on port 5500 to open now. Good. So you can see what we have. Exactly. Look at what we are designing. But look at what we have. Just this is the skeleton of this, but it doesn't make sense. This is the design because there's a beauty on this. So you see the importance of CSS. All right. So here I can start styling. Can start styling. So first thing I will do, I will open up the CSS file. So let me open up under this CSS, and I will just say, let's say, style.css. Okay, so I will come this place and link it up. Let me just expand this here. I will link my style here, link CSS, and I will just leave. Okay, let me just put it properly. I will say is I will leave projects. Okay, sorry, I don't need to use this style CS. I have my style. Right, that is it. So I can go to my style now and start styling. So first thing I will do, let me copy my universal selector, and I will set all my margin by default is 0. I don't need any margin. I don't need any extra padding. If you notice that changes on my page, I don't need any extra padding. By default, everything come back to normal. Then I'll set a box sizing, to border box. This really helps a lot to make your pages, most of the elements do not over, because for instance this can have 30 pixels. Because of its surroundings, it can add up an extra width. Instead of being 34 or 30 inch width, these spaces around here, maybe there's a container, we join to this width and it become this actual width now become 40 something or 50 something, not the same width you are giving. So that's why I always set to border box. So everything should be normal. Then I can choose a general font family, and I will say set to array. Then I can set it to another sans serif. All right, so I just said this is general design I have for this. You can see everything how they are looking, even the text have changed and everything I want. Good. So let's proceed. So I can style the navbar. Let me just comment a navbar here. So this is what I'm styling, navbar, and I will call my navbar class. What is the name of the navbar? Did I close down my project? I don't need it to be closed. All right, as I want to be seeing you. So the name of my navbar class is navbar. What does it have? My image or my logo div and my list on other list. These two things are wrapped under this navbar. Take note of it so that you know whatever we are doing, what it affects. So everything I'm doing on this will affect only thing inside of this. Everything inside. So I will call my .navbar. First, I want to say display. By doing display first, everything changed to row. The positioning changed by to row. You can see that by default. You can change the flex direction, but by default we are leaving it. It changed to row. You can see it. Because why? Everything is wrapped inside this navbar. So everything inside this navbar will change to flex. This one and this one, they will flex together. These items will not flex because these items are directly inside another parent. So this whatever I'm doing here only affects these ones, this child, not their grandchild. Does not affect their grandchild. Only most times that affect those grandchild, something like you are changing on a topography, maybe a font size, a text size, but anything on positioning, placing, unless you are targeting this directly, the nth child of this, right? Here, take that information. If I'm doing this, major things on position and flexboard will affect only their parents. So that is why this man is on one side, still on list. If I want to change this, I will just say another flex on this man to make this guy flex, which we will also do. So let's proceed. So I said this space first, and what do I want to do among this? I want to create a space using the flex plus. Remember, there is a property we call justify content, which I say we can have spaces around, spacing between. So let's use the space between to create equal space. You can see. So equal space, this one go to the edge, space around. So you create equal space to, with my total width. Alright. So next thing I will do is let me align items. So I want the items to be not align cell, sorry, align items. I want this align items to be at the center. So within the margin, it is still everything. You can see everything sits in between the margin, the center of the nav bar, which is this place. This is the parent. It will be at the center of the. If I put a background, you see that there's in the center of it. So I'll put a background. Let's put a background. I'll say a background. Let's use a background color. Let's use the shorthand. Just want to add another thing. I can say hash 4 B 60 F T. Alright. So this is kind of a light blue, not actual blue. So I couldn't type direct blue. So you can get the color of this thing by using the color picker. Alright. So you can just search for a color picker, place it on this color, and you get the actual S code of this. So if you are wondering how did they get each of those colors, so we have something called color picker. So you can search your Google here, just say color picker. So you take that as an assignment. I won't spend much time on it. Color picker, and you can download the tools on the extension, so you can pick any color. All right, so let's proceed. I'm need to open 2 tabs. Yes. Sorry. Okay, that is it. So you can see what we have. So this is this, and this is what we have. So what else? You can see this is black. And on our page, let me see what we have here. Alright, good. It is white. So we need to do something. So how do I change the text? I will say the color. I will change the color to white. Since it's already on the color background, I can change the color to white. But this is still lapping to my wall. So what can I do? I can change the padding to create space around, and I will say padding. I can give it maybe 15 top and bottom pixel, and I'll give right and left 40 pixels. Let's see what this width gives. Alright, so this looks a bit okay. Good space. Alright. Next thing we can do, okay, we can style on this a little bit, this logo. So if it's an image, you can also style the logo. So what is the name of this? We gave it logo, the class name logo. So we can call the logo. And what can we do? I can change it the font width to increase the thickness. So I can say bold, make it bold. Alright. Then I can, let's increase the font size a little bit. But by default, are we increasing? Should we decrease? Okay, let's decrease. I think it's still very big. 20 pixels. Okay, the default value is 16, so we are increasing. I think let me reduce a little bit. 20 is too much. That's 18. Okay, I think this looks fair now. All right. Next thing I have, I'm done with this logo. This test, this is just a pure test. I'm done with it. I'm done with this background blue you're seeing. But why this thing is having too many weights is because of this list. They are still on column one. You can still see how they are still straight. So I would like to lie them down to be on a straight line. Simply you can know how to do that by adding the slave flex to this, it will lie it down. So simply let's do that. So what is the class guiding all these things? This parent class on the URL is the nav links that I can copy and don't make mistakes. I copy, Control C, and I will call my nav list. And what can I do on my nav list? So let me change the style. So this style, I showed you the other day how I can change the style. So I can change this style to dash, to decimal, to dash. Let's see. There's one. Actually, I can change it to anything. Let's see this disk. Change. Let's see. A Roman alpha. Alright, so this change. So you can actually change the style to anything. So if you need a box, you can change it to anything. This is the circle. Let's see what this will show. And so you can see. So you can change to any style of your choice. Right? But I don't need it. So I can place it to the none. That is what I want. So I don't need anyone. So that is the bottom light of what I'm trying. I don't want anyone. So as I can change anyone, I can also decide I don't need it. Remove it. Good. So I've done that. So next thing, let me just make the display flex. Display flex. And this will just make this on a straight line column. Right, so you can still see this, there's still underline, but there's no underline here. What can I do? I can just change this text decoration. To do that, say text decoration. Text decoration have different decoration, double line, line through, depending on what you want to choose. But I want none. I don't want it. It will leave. Next thing I want to change the color to white. To white. My code is no longer refreshing. I don't know why. So let me kind of close it or open it again. Not refreshing again. The decoration was meant to have. Oh, I'm opening live on my CSS file. Okay. You're meant to refresh, not the same thing. Okay, let me continue. I will figure out why this is happening. So I can just give a gap to give a space. Hope this takes effect. I hope I am on the right name. Yes, I think I am. So I can give it 20 pixel. Okay, it's working. So there's something making this not to show. So I can trace. And I can place this missing something. Okay, I think I'll prefer it this way. Prefer it this way. Right. So these are some little challenges you might face. You just think out how to solve it. Think out how to solve it. Now this text decoration, I don't know why it's not taking effect. It should be taking effect. Okay. Yes, I am meant to target this. There's an element inside this. Remember what I told you? This element is inside this list. So whatever I'm doing is affecting these parents, not their grandchild. Alright, so this is most time how you figure out some problem. So if I want to target this, I just have to call, I can remove it here, and I will just call the nav links, and I call the A under it, and I will say there's the correction none. Perfect. That works. I hope this is understood. So I can also bring back the color. If I say the color white here, it will still work because I'm not targeting the link. If I say white, or if I say let's change it to red, then I will remove it. I will use the main color here, the red. So you see, it will work perfectly well because I'm not targeting it. Okay, that makes sense. I believe we are almost close, if not close. So what we have, so this is smaller screen. Let me enlarge this. So we are close. So you can see this is the same thing we have, right? This is almost the same thing we have in our project here. Highlighting this. Permit me, let me duplicate this. I won't have strength to be stretching again. Duplicate. Alright, I can drag him out. Good. I can enlarge this and then change. So this is it. You can see this is what we say it should design, and this is what we have so far. Amazing. You can see it. Alright, and we have this and this. Okay, let's move further, a step further. I've gotten the navbar. I believe that everybody can create a navbar, no? Though we haven't made this responsive, but we'll come back to it. That means if I inspect this code and I run it on my smaller screen, watch and see what you see. This is on a large scale. Let me remove it on one scale. You can see how all of them are joining on smaller screen, so it does not look very okay on small screen. So we'll come back to this later. Let's move further. Maybe we can do that now. Since you're on navbar, let's do that now. Alright, I'll go to my code. So I'm taking my time to explain all this. So my spend up to 2 hours or some few minutes to that 2 hours. So for me to do that, if you check the screen size of this is 360. Let me leave it as responsive. I will say the breakpoint of tablet most times is around 7. You can see around 7. Around 768. Let me close this again. I think it's not adapting to the screen. Good. So around 768, you can see that it still looks nice. But we want to start affecting our stuff from that 768 down. So let's have a media query. At this 768, it should change a view for us. Alright, so let's do something. Let me minimize this. So to do that, where is the one that I opened? Okay, that is this. And I need my output. Is that my output? Yes. Okay, good. I'll close this. So this is my output. So let's say at media screen 768 less lower to lower screen, that is from tablet screen to mobile, it should appear this way. So I can say at media, which is the syntax, media, can choose the screen at once and specify the screen to be in a parenthesis. I will say mouse width, and I'll assign it to be 768 pixels. That means from this screen downward, take effect of this. So I can call the nav link links here, and I'll say um, display or display direction. Display, I think displays direction, yes, to the column. So a smaller screen, you can see from my smaller screen, this is a big screen. Let me inspect this. I'm being very live here and demonstrative of whatever we have been doing. So you can see this as I move towards this, my smaller screen, this menu becomes this. That means on my small screen, it still looks okay. Alright, it still looks okay. This is most times how you see it, but the difference is that most times we hide it. We just place a small icon where you can now click it to see something like this. Then you can place it to be below it. At that time, you bring it below, and that's what we do. Alright, so at this small screen, let me choose a font size, maybe favorite phone, Galaxy, and you look at it's very okay. Alright, it's even okay placing it this way, but we hide it. That when I introduce it to JavaScript later, will hide it. So I will use something to represent it. So what I will do is at at this screen, we remove this flex. We will make this flex, this display, to be blocked, to be none. Sorry, so we don't see it at all. So we won't see it at that screen. It won't be showing at all. So it's only last screen that will be seeing it. Right, at last screen will be seeing their own. So when I get to, so I'll do this something like this. So when I get to last screen, it will only show at last screen. If it's not last screen, it will not show. So I want to show something else. So I just want to use something I called normally something you normally see. Okay, it is called trigram for heaven. You have seen this sign. Alright, so I'll just use this sign to represent. That is most things to use. So I can just click on something. It looks like a text, it's a symbol. So you can just copy it. So I can just click here, right, and just copy. Ctrl C. That's all. I can copy it. And I will come back to my code. Let's go back to our code. At this same place, so you can place it at the same place at the top. So after this website, let's place it somewhere here. So I can call it a div, and I'll give it a class of, what will you give it now? Let's call it pre-help. Pre-help. Alright. Or let me just call it very easy name. You can know. Let's say icon. Good. Menu. Let's say navbar icon. Navbar icon. That makes more sense. Alright, I will paste it. So that is it. So at this time, you can be seeing it. This is what you are seeing. But at last screen, it will still be showing, and this is showing. So that shows that we can say that at last screen, this one should not be showing. But at small screen, this one be showing. So when this one is clicked, we now show that menu. That is JavaScript. So I will introduce you to JavaScript because I think this should be the last class for HTML and CSS. So please pay attention to this. This will expose you a lot to everything you need to know in your daily practice. Everything you need to know. Okay. Christian, I hope you can still hear me. I can't see the call.
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
And it's making sense.
Yes, sir, it is.
All right. All right. So let's come to our big screen and make this not visible. So I can copy this, all of this class, come to this place. Now below this, I will call the young man, and I will say display none. So our big screen, it will never show. Let it refresh. You can see it. Our small screen is going to refresh. see, it's not refreshing. Okay, I think I need to add it also. All right, I know what is happening. So I'm saying as last screen, make it none. So I have to make it visible. Let me make it visible on this place again. So I have to call him again and make him visible. I can say, let's say block. Let me see. Automatically it will show. So as big screen, it will remove. As small screen, it will change. You can now see that it makes more sense. You can see that it makes more sense. As last screen, it shows the text. As small screen, it shows. So this is almost the same thing with my assignment I gave to you. So when this is clicked now, I will now show the drop down of that navbar. So maybe I will add it at the later end of the class when I will introduce JavaScript. So let's say we have only menu for the last screen. We'll come back and add this JavaScript in our next below after we are done. All right, so let's proceed to my slide. So next thing is another section that have this box, having responsive design, learn CSS for all screen, and a button get started. So we'll be doing that. So I will come below my HTML when I'm done. So I will leave this navbar and let's name this our hero bar. You can name here our hero bar. So most times those spoon cards normally name them hero bar, like the major menu where they see. So you can just name that section like that. So I can say comment. This is our hero section. All right. So I will select section. This is another section. Thematic elements. I can give a class here. Call it hero. That's the name of this card. This section. So first thing I have is a very big font. So I can use the head one, responsive, and I'll name it responsive design. I will come below. Next one is just a little text. I can use the paragraph and I'll say learn CSS, learn CSS for all screen sizes. Then a button. I just add the button and I will just name get started. All right, so this is what we have. All right, so I have a problem here which I will correct. The problem here is that I'm going to set the universe the color of white. So let me remove something. So let me do something here. Let me use a variable here. I will say root dash, let's say YC, or let's say YC. I'll say white. I use a short form. So this is how most times they even generate all those framework we are using, like those Bootstrap and the rest. So I will remove this here. I will come to where I need it. I think I need it on this nav links. I'll place it here. So I'll just call my variable. So I'm using everything I have taught you. YC. Alright. So far so good. I can copy this white again and place it on this logo as well. I need it. So let me close this and see what we have. So I can still place that YC, which is white again, on our map icon. Okay, then I can still place it. I don't think there's need anymore. So just place that white to take override everything. So this is it. We are back to normal. So expand this. And it's back to normal. So we can see this section perfectly well. This is the button. This, and they are centered, very centered. You can see at the center of this is centered at this, and it has a full width taking up this entire screen. So by default, let me tell you something. All this schematic element by default has the full width. That means if I put the background color of this, the entire width of this will take up. So let's do that in a style. So from my color picker, I have the hash code for this. So I'll just quickly place it. So I'll just call the hero first. This is the parent card. I'm start from the head. Then I'll say the background, and I'll change it to a hash card. I think it's F4, F6, FF. Good. That is the color. Then I'll add a space around this one. So let's say padding 80 pixel top and bottom, then 20 pixel right and left. Alright, they look something like this. So to make this text to be at the center, a very simple thing we can use, just say text align and position center. Say text align with this width to just be at the center. To be at the center. Alright, so let's tie this h1. This is the h1 inside this hero div, the h1. So I can call it, when we are doing grouping, I have taught you how to do that. So I can say dot hero, I'll give a space, I'll call the element I want to target h1, and I'll just do the font size to be 40 pixel, a bit older. Then margin button, let me give a space between the next one. I'll give a margin button and say 10 pixel. Good. So these two is still adding will still separate them. So let me style this button. I think it should be okay. Let me style this button at once. I think that will help me. So I can call the same hero, and I'll call the button under it. They don't have a class name. And I'll say a padding. Give a padding around them, 10 top and bottom, and 20 up and down. Alright. So we can have no border. I don't need a border on it. I can have, have I changed the color? Okay, he's still having a color. Okay, so let's change the color. I can have the background, since I'm not seeing it. I can use hash 4a, and that's the same color we used up here. So we can actually save this color. So I can call it. So let me save this color at my variable and call it, so I don't start repeating myself again. So I'm teaching you how we do some advanced coding. So I can call this and say body or text color. Okay, this is BG color BC. Now we're passing the hash code. As simple as that. So I'll just come whenever I have that. Instead of this, I will call bar BC. I don't need to crack my head on the call again. So I'll come back here that where I need it again on the button. I need it on the button. So I'll call bar BC. That makes sense. Makes sense. Alright, so I think I'm enjoying this coding. And I believe every other person is doing the same. Alright, so what other thing can I do? If you check now, you can see that this kind of a curve, but this is just having like a square, like a rectangle. Perfect shape, no curve, right? So I can change that by using the border radius. So I'll say border radius, and I can give it 5 pixels. Let's see how it will look like at 5 pixels. 5 pixels. Yeah, you can notice that. So I can even increase so it looks more obvious, so you can see what we're doing. But is this okay? We're looking away from our design. So the customer wants us to produce exactly what we have. So let's leave it. I think this is the closest. So we have a color of white. Color of white. All right. So this is still lapping with this on top. So we can create a space. So to use, if this one is creating a space below the margin bottom, on top you tell that margin top should create a space up on the short form. Margin top can say 15 pixel, and we can change the cursor to pointer to show that it's clickable. When you over on it, you can see it over on it, show that you can click it. You can click it. Alright, think this looks exactly like this. We are still going, joining. So if I open like this, you see it, that is it. What we have so far. And let's view our project. This is the project. Alright, this is a project sample. This is what we have so far. So we are aligned. So let's proceed. Let's proceed. Let's proceed. Come back to my code. Let me return the view. So we have this. I think there should be one. Is this responsive? Okay. Alright, return this to now. Good. I can scroll down. So let's proceed to the next thing. So the next thing we'll be doing is this section now. So you can see that almost the same thing we did here, the same thing we just repeat. I will not waste much time here. I will be very fast here. Alright, so I'll just call this is what is responsive. I don't know, can give this guy any name. I just give it any name and jump to this section. So I'll be very fast. This is the same thing I did here. So I can just say about, I just say about section, about section, and I will say section, and I'll just give it a class of about, and I will repeat the same thing. So let's see, this one is smaller. I can just say H2. Let me use a small letter H2, small letter H2. I'll say what is responsive design. SIG. And I use a paragraph below. Paragraph. And I will say responsive web design. So it's very important that if you are developing, your typing skill should also be very high. Ensure your website looks increase this. You can see the text little bit a bit smaller. Think okay, looks great on mobile tablets. Looks great on mobile tablets and desktop devices. Alright, so that's what we have here. So let's see our output here. This is our output. So we have, this is what we have here. This is what we have here. So let's make it look like this. So I'll call the about section, which is this on my style. I'll say dot about. The first thing I'll do for it, okay, I can type, let me name my CSS according, so anybody seeing it can know. I can say about, I can name this one hero, the beginning. Let me go to the beginning where I started, okay, hero. Alright, so anybody can locate each section and know where it ended. So it's good that you use your comments always. Good. So use the padding and you say, let's say 60 pixel for top and bottom, 20 pixel. And the same thing we do, align text. Align text align. Text align. I will say center. I will say center. And this is what we have. This is what we have. So it's just the background is still white, so there's no need to place white background automatically text of this. So we are done with this. We are done with this. So let's take this one. This is the highlight of today's class, kind of a card before the footer. So this card will position this and see. So let's see how this post even look on our last screen. So I will say inspect. Let me choose a small screen. This still looks a big. And if you notice that I'm not using relative unit for this. I'm not using relative, I'm not using a fluid unit, I'm using a fixed unit. So that's why it's always breaking. So I can actually change it to use a relative text, or I can the same way come down here and change it, but that will be a longer way. Let's just do it once and for all where we can change it. So here we have on page 1, let's look for it. Hero page 1. So I can say 10 view width. You can see on 10 view width it still looks perfectly okay. Let me say 8. Let's see. It looks better, and if I open this it still looks very okay. So if I want to reduce this size on big screen, I think that's where that clamp is very, very important. So we can use the clamp now to do this. Clamp, not cast, sorry. I think this is CLAMP clamp. So it has 3 values. Okay. Sorry, excuse me. Alright, sorry, I'm back. Alright, so this accept 3 value. As small screen, you can say it is good at as a 6 view width. Refresh. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Huh? Okay, thank you. Let me correct this. So you can say at this 5 view width, preferred one, that's a 7 view width, and at maximum shouldn't take 6. But the preferred should be, let's say 6, and at maximum 7 width. Let's see what will we got. What will we get? So this looks better this way. I will inspect, and even a small screen it still looks very, very okay. It fits in. Alright, so this is how we use the fluid unit. So I just did something very important. So I don't have to start stressing myself putting it on different media screen and start repeating my code again in one line. So always look for the shortest way you can use to achieve a particular result. If a particular result warrant just one line, just know that it will be faster than a code that will be 4 or 5 lines before running. Alright, so that's how you improve your speed or your web speed. All those little things, those seconds matters. Okay, when the milliseconds matters. So that is that. So we'll do the same thing for this. We'll do the same thing for it. So I'm just copying the whole of this, the whole of it, and I will. So I can actually, okay, since they are not the same unit, I will say let's store it. But let's, so I will repeat about page 2. I'll just drop this. So I'll reduce this by 1. This is 5. This is 5. And this will be 6. Alright, that's perfect. And the same thing can happen to this text if you want them to be okay. So we can do the same thing for the text. So I can say about dot about paragraph. I paste it, and I can reduce this one a little bit by 3, by 4, and by 5. Alright, so you can see it's very okay here, and at last screen it should be very good looking. Alright, so this page is very responsive, very responsive. So we've achieved a lot. So let's move forward and get the card. You can see I can choose any mobile responsive, and my code is still looking very okay, very fitted, still looking very okay, very small screen, very okay. All right, let's proceed. So the next thing we'll focus on, let me scroll here, will be the sections, 3 card sections, 3 card sections. So this is the slide. Sorry, no, that's one too. This. Alright, 3 card sections. So I'll come to my HTML. I wanted to give myself one guy this is ready to like an up on the job. If she like gave me another person, I know another person. I wanted to give myself one guy this is ready to like an up on the job. Fucking this money is very good. So even if you after this section, so let's call this cards. Let's say card. And I will use a section or card section. Cards section. So I'll use a section here. I'll be a little bit fast because of our time. I'll prepare so I can have this class section
I'm
to the
not
card.
coming tomorrow, guy.
A class of
I have 5K in my account and they saved that 5K for emergency.
And the card inside will be
Maybe
card.
next week
So
when I
a
go
div
come.
of card.
I tire. Not get money.
Of card. So what will be inside of this? So this is
and you why she not give her sister an investment? Why she not give her sister an investment?
A bold
story
paragraph. So I can use
I don't understand. If you're doing 12 hours work, you know what that means? Your whole day, just understand that mobile, your whole day. Just know as you wake up 6 o'clock in the morning, you do that shit till 6 o'clock in the evening. No break. No.
I'll leave this.
Even
paragraph.
if you get 12 hours shift,
I'll have another paragraph.
You go break. You know this in that one place.
Looks great on small screens.
Yeah, the money is good.
So let's see how this will look.
Because the money, when it comes, is good. Forget about the stress and the mental.
So you can see
mental problems you have when doing the work.
That's how it's looking.
But is it worth it? But when the money comes, it's sweet.
Good. So let's go to our CSS to start this. I can duplicate this since there are 3 in number. Let's duplicate this again. 1, 2, 2 more. So I can name this flexible layout. Then we can write here and say uses include grids. Sorry, let me not copy rubbish. Let's confirm what is there. So this says uses flow grids and flexible units and flexible units. Alright, on this place I can say fast performance, and I can write here say optimize for speed. So you can see I'm taking my time, but there's something I'm passing here, attentiveness. So don't just say because it's just a demo you write rubbish. If you continue like that, you get used to it. So make sure you are very attentive to everything and use usability exactly what is meant to be used, so that you don't confuse anybody using your code. So this is what we have in our output. Let's see our output.
It's actually what is for somebody that is. See, I
this 1, 2, 3. So we separate them. They are all inside this cards, inside this section. They are all inside this section. Everything here. So the same thing we are doing, we'll still repeat it. Come to start here on a small screen. On a normal neutral screen, I will start the cards. So first thing I will say on the cards, I will say display, change the display to flex, since they are all in column. They are not flexible, they are block elements. Once I do that, automatically change. You can see that. So I will say let me justify them to be center, everything to be center. You know that this justify will not work without a display space. I spoke about that in our previous class. Alright, sorry, let me check that we are still paying attention. Okay, that's good. We have Bolaham. Lion them, sorry, I always wondering. I hope you are getting it. Did I pronounce your name? Bolaham. I hope you are getting 20 pixels. And I give a space around because you can see that they are joining to this wall. I will say padding, and I'll do this padding, but let's give it a central, the same unit for everything. Let me know. So let's say 20 pixels, and I'll give it the width it should take. So let's see. I don't know if it will be right to give it a fixed width, but let me view it first. Let's see. You can give it a fixed width. It doesn't exceed.
Well, I don't know what to do, anything to do. Maybe do this
so we can give the width by percentage.
I'm not saying,
right? I don't think it's necessary anyway, but let's give it. Maybe we can remove it along the line.
And
I can say a width
you're doing small
75%
for that kind of pay in Nigeria. Yeah,
is this really necessary?
I do not dispute that. But
okay, let me remove this switch for now. I don't need it.
Nigerian in
I don't need the width. Alright, so let's leave this way first now.
And
so we are trying to get the center, to be at the center. But I will come back to that to get the space. That's what is happening. So they give it width.
Nigerian with those resources is not somebody that is completely 100% broke.
Let me give it a fixed width first. Let me see how to behave.
To support them as well.
Let's give it a little to 50 pixels. Let me see. How will it behave? So this is going to be the worst. So let me remove this width. I don't need it. Being the fixed width is worst. So let me leave it 75 or 80%. I'll comment it as or add it later on. 80% or 90%. I'll comment it. See what I will use it for. Okay, let's proceed. So let's proceed. I don't think I need the width. So next thing I will do, let's see the space I have here again. Having a little space here, so I can actually increase the padding. Let's increase the padding. Okay, maybe let me add it for the top and the bottom. 16 it's up and down. Yes, that makes more sense. Okay, let's go. The next thing I want to do, maybe on a smaller screen, it should be wrapping according to this container. It shouldn't just be changing. So I can say plus wrap, and I'll wrap it. Wrap. So you can see when this one gets to this size, it goes to the next line. And a smaller screen, they will be on color, on default. Exactly what I want. You can see on smaller screen, you are reducing as you are getting to the width, and on smaller screen, it will be like this. Sorry, it will be like this. Oh my god. Excuse me. All right. So let's go to the card. So this is for the cards for the entire section. For the entire section. So let me start for the cards. The cards. So the card now. For the card. Each of those cards to have a background. So they are of the same background color. Let's see what they have here. They have the same background color. Yes. So it's not kind of the same. There's something, this design like a shadow around it. So we'll add those things. So let's say the background is still white. So let's leave the white. So we'll say a box shadow. Can introduce you to something. So this is how we add shadow. So we'll say 0. So these are the axes we are checking. So whether the top or the right, what should it shift on? Like a background we are adding. So say 5 pixel, and this is the left. So we'll check out the effect of this. So I'll add a color. So I can say RGB. What color do you have here? Kind of a black. Okay. So let's still use black for add opacity. So it will show. So I'll say RGBA for me to add opacity. A for alpha. I can make it 0 black. Return. I need the shadow to be black, but a little shadow. 0. 0. And on this alpha, I say 0.1. 0.1. Let's see what we have. Yes, something is forming. At least I say I can see something. So you can also see something. So to make it effective, let's produce more. So I will increase the padding around them. All the boxes, 20 pixels for everybody to give me more space. Good. So give me more space. Increase the size. Good. So you can see it. You can see the shadow around it, this kind of gray. Alright. So let me show you something. Let me make it so obvious. Make it so obvious so we can particularize this boss shadow. Alright, so this is kind of wow, this red is beautiful. I think I'll leave it this way. I didn't want to amend code. I think I like this red anyway. Fine. For blue color balancing, I think it's wrong to use blue. I think it's good to use. Okay, but I will change it. Let's just say I say 20 here. I want to see what each of this position is doing. So this moves, let's increase more, 200. So this moves to the right. So you can see the effect. So this first unit shift this thing to the right. So this one, this should be bottom. Yes, this moves to the bottom. Let's see 150 of this. So this kind of the width. let's have one to have the actual color. It doesn't really change, but it's kind of adding more black, like a transparency. So have 13, it gets being transparent. So 15. So I will leave this the way we have it by default. So I just scatter this just for us to see what we are doing. So I will leave this the way we have it. So I'll return everything to normal with the padding of 20. Good. So this is where we are. Alright, so next thing I will do, that's for the boss shadow, is to, you can see that there's kind of a curve. Let me show you. There's kind of a curve here at these bosses, but our own does not have it. So let's add this boss. I've overwritten this, it should come down. It should go this side. Alright, so there's kind of a boss here. Let's add it, just a border radius. We add that, so I can say on the card border radius, and I will say, let's just say 8 pixel, and say text align to the center, just like this way. This one is center, and that will be perfectly well. We are good. We are good with this. And the next one is just the footer. That's just the footer. So we'll be very more faster here. So since I've explained every component, so everything I've explained is still the same thing where I'm going to be repeating here. Everything I just explained now is the same thing I'm repeating here. So I'll be just fast in doing that here. For the last section, which is the footer section, before we call it a day, footer section, I will have my section. I'll give the section a class name of footer. Or instead of using the section, let's use the semantic element of footer or footer. Let's just say footer. Use the footer. I'll say footer dot call it footer. Class name will be footer too. Alright. So we can use a div to divide each of these sections. There's 1, 2, 3 here. One section, two section, three section. So we can use a div to group them. You can say this is footer content. Footer content. Then I can add the footers. The first thing I have here on my footer is kind of a text. I can still divide this under this total content. I can divide this to have a text, another text. I can create another bosses div. And I'll call this my website. So this is ch my website. This one, you can see what is there. View it large. Responsive website for all devices. Building responsive, so I can use a P. Building a responsive website for all devices. Alright. I'm done with this. I can duplicate this thing into 2 more. The same thing I just did now is what I'm repeating. Quick links. Such issues. If these are links, you are expected to use links, right? So that is what this thing is saying. It's just very simple. I will remove it and just say this is not the place. I will remove here and just use on other list, just the same way we repeated, and I will say LOI. I use the A tag, hash, and I will say, let me just duplicate this one. How many are we having here? Okay, 1, 2, 3. So I'll place here between these and say home, services, and about. And lastly, we have the contact. So we can use this P to continue. The first thing we have there is email. We can put whatever email we want. So I won't put any email for now. I don't know any. Maybe we'll put website email later on. Or you can put your personal email. You can put a phone number. You can contact. I can leave it. So I can use storage so that it's empty. Alright. I think we are good. After this, let's just add the last thing there, a div. And this div, we can call it footer button. So you see how I'm naming mine. So look, at least someone see my code by seeing my class name. Not bother me, button. ETM. I see my class name, you can know what I'm doing. So I can say at 2026, and to use that symbol, copyright, my website or whatever, just to add the copyright and whatever if you have right, depending on what you are designing on. Reserved for your copyright number and the rest. Okay, so we are done with this section. So let's style it. Let's see how it appears. So you can see how it's showing. Just the way we have structured it. Let's use this style now one after the other to change the sections. So first, I will call the footer, which is the total overall footer thematic element on my CSS. So if the element name is footer, the class name is footer. But why we want to use footer in the case class name, in case maybe we have more than one footers on our page, it doesn't complete by using the element name. So say footer. Okay, and change the background. Then it's kind of a background black here. I don't think it's proper black on my picker. Let's say background to be hash. So this is a short form of writing 6 letters. Instead of saying 2, you can write it 3 if they are the same. If they are the same, like F. You can just pick each of their word and just leave it 3 short. So this hash code can be in 3 form or 6 form, depending on if they are the same. Okay. I'm just picking up some important things as I'm proceeding. The next thing I will do, let me change the color. Since the background is black, it's wise that the color should be white. Color white. So I have a white color already. So I can say var white color. Okay. As easy as that. As easy as that. The next thing, I'm done with this session. Let's okay, let me give a space. It's still joining. Let's can give a pattern. A pattern of 40 pixel, 20 pixel. We have done this shorthand 20 pixel and 20 pixel. So you should understand what each of these ones is doing. So I'm creating pattern for all sizes, for top, bottom, right. It goes clockwise. clockwise. So top, you know the next, So when you remember clockwise, you know how it goes. Okay. We are done with the footer. I don't think there's any other thing to add here. Right, so let's move to the next one. The next one should be inside those boxes. What do we name them? Footer content. So I can copy it. Ctrl C. I will come down here, paste it, footer content. The first thing I will do for this footer content, there are different elements, 1, 2, and 3 inside. You just to flex them so that on the last screen, display flex. On the last screen, it will show on a row, easy as this. So you can see. I will add a space around it so that they will take up justify content. I will take up a space around them so that they will take up a space in between, so that they take up all the entire space. They can see they take up the available space, excluding this one that is not inside. I hope that makes sense. The next thing I will add is flex wrap, so that a smaller screen it will just wrap. I don't need to start doing any other thing on my small screens. So on the small screen it will just wrap, and I'll give it a gap of 20 pixels. Alright, okay, I'm good. So let's tie this H3 and H4. Is that what we used for it? Let's see. H3. Do we use H4? Okay. H3. That's what we use. So let's tie the H3, the headings. And I will use my same color that the same spacing I have been using. Let's copy the whole of this. Now I'll paste it here. Call H3. So I'll just use a font for them. A default font, responsive font. This is where we used it on H2. So let me use it the same thing for them here on side. So I can equally save this, so that whenever I want it, I'll just be calling their name so I'm looking for it. That is important of the variables. So you can start seeing the important. Next time I need it, I don't need to write it afresh. The next thing I will do here is to give them a margin button to be given a little space below. I'll give it a paste unit of 10 pixels. So there's a space in between this. Alright, so next one I will target will be on their links. You can see there's a link here. There's a URL, another list. So first of all, do that. Change this and change the colors and remove the decoration for the text. Let's begin with that one. So I will reduce this size. Here. I will shift this so that we'll be seeing the links as we are working on it. So look at the wrap. The wrap is already working, but I don't know if we are. The wrap is already working. Let's test it. Let's try it now. Into chipping. Why am I opening this now? Okay, should be this. So you can see it's wrapping. As I'm going, it will wrap. So if you get to a small screen, it will wrap to 1. So let me enlarge it and do before work on this link. Alright, so we'll be rounding up. You can see. Once you get to one smaller screen, it will wrap to 1. So we can actually make all of these things to be at the center. Can make it to be at the center. Okay, let's proceed with the link. I will call the URL. Let me copy this again. I will call the footer, UL. So what I want to remove from those UL, this list, I want to remove the list, that dotted list style, and say none. Then I will repeat this again and repeat this again and call the link, the anchor tag. I'll change this to A. So what do I want to remove from it? Decoration, text decoration. Text decoration. None. None. And color. We're using the white color. White color. Perfect. Let's see. Okay. So let's use, what do we have here? Let's see the test. I hope the same color. That is the test. Okay, it's kind of looking faded, like more dim. They have an opacity. Let's see. Okay, it's almost the same thing. It's almost the same thing. So let's use that same color, white, what it looks like. Okay, let's use, I think, a lighter this color I want to use. So let's use a short form of DDD. This is the hash. Okay. Let's see what we have there. Alright, yeah, this is better. This is better. So there's something else I want to do to reduce this font sizes. So have 4 here, have 4 here, have 5. They look kind of big. Okay. Content. Let me see. I need to reduce this text a little bit. It is the terrain, 4 size of it. Alright, so let's proceed. The next thing we do, I think we are gradually rounding up, is to do this button, this last one I will design. And it's very easy. Let's go and look for the next. What is the name we'll give to it? Div footer button. Copy it. Now we style this. Alright. I style this. Okay. Alright, so first thing I will do, let's just make the text to the center. Let's view, does this text to the center. Let's align center. And then margin top to make a space at the top. That's all that we need. Yeah. Let's see, margin top, let's say 20 pixels. What we have. So we have, I can make this to be at the center though. Justify. We're already having a space between. I need a space around. A space around will be better for me here. So that I have more space. Space around. That means all around it you have equal space. Yes, I prefer this. Okay, so that is all. That is all. That is all. So maybe the text can be middle. No. Let's make the text on the content middle. Have the text align here. Let's see if this works. Good.
Yeah, do.
Perfect. Perfect. Alright, so everything be at the middle. So those looking more better. Okay, so we have achieved this and it's very, very responsive. Very, very responsive. So this is the assignment or the task. This is how it's looking, and this is what we got. I think this is exactly what you ordered versus what you got. So we got 100% of what we ordered. So let's make this response be on mobile. Let's test out our codes. Is all right. So one more thing I haven't added is this. So I will review this in my next class when I will be introducing you to JavaScript. Then we'll use it as a demo to say the beauty of JavaScript. So the idea here is an event. When we click on this to show those menu below, and when we click on it again, it will hide it. So that will be in our next class. So make sure you are very present. That is on Monday by 4 p.m. We'll be introducing to JavaScript. We'll complete that. But other than that, our site is very responsive. So on its mobile view, you can see how it looks like, and everything looks perfectly fitted. Perfectly. So this is how it looks on a small screen, and even on a large screen, it's very, very fabulous, fantastic, and whatever thing you want to add. All right. So any question? Any question? This one.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Thank you so much